Now, one last thing before you finish up, you're going to want to save your project file here. So that's under Project, Save As. And I'm saving in my C drive in my folder GIS 300 datasets. If you're using one of the lab computers, you cannot use the C drive. It will wipe when you shut the computer down. You'll want to use your Google Drive file stream. But somewhere I can save safely, week 1, and I'm going to save this as week 1 demo. And it's going to save in the format .qgz, which is the QGIS project file. Save. So now that's saved. I can close that. I'm just going to minimize it for now. And here's that folder, week 1 in my GIS 300 datasets folder. And there's week 1 demo, saved 9:21 a.m. There we are. So that project file contains no data. It's 21 kilobytes. It's very, very small. All it's doing is telling the software where to look for these datasets, which are all here, some of them quite large, and how to display them. It'll also store any annotations you make, labels, text, various notes, that kind of a thing. An important thing to understand is that all 5 of these files make up one shapefile. So every kind of points, lines, polygons layer, and every specific data file associated with those categories gets a number of these different files. So when I look at the main DOT roads, category 3, if I'm looking at that in QGIS, week 1 demo, here's the roads. I can zoom to that layer and see them all. This looks like one file here, but this is a shape, so you can see all the lines and all the vertices and all the twists and turns they make. And if I right-click and open the attribute table, there it is, I'll see that there's a whole spreadsheet associated with that. That's going to take a minute to load up because it's very, very large. And let's see, think, there we are. So there's this huge spreadsheet that contains all this information about what kind of a road it is, whose jurisdiction it is, all sorts of interesting stuff about that. Close that, look back to here. So when you look at this, if I want to move this to another folder, I need to select all of those and move them all at once. If I just take this one and say, oh, that's the .shape file, no, that's going to disconnect all of these. That connection is broken. It can't figure out where everything is. All of these files that start with main DOT roads category 3 and higher, lines feature, need to go together, or else everything just stops working. So reasons why: we have the shape file, which describes the shape. We have the .dbf database file. That is essentially the attribute table. We have a couple of layers that help those two things talk to one another. And we have the projection file that describes the map projection appropriate to the display of this data set. So all of those have to go together. Every one of these, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shape files here, plus 1 TIFF raster file. So that's the image file format, the GeoTIFF, which is used to display this kind of a raster, which is very, very large. Anyway, so now we have this saved. We can close this file. And let's see, this project includes 1 or more temporary scratch layers. These layers are not saved to disk and their contents will be permanently lost. Are you sure you want to proceed? No, I'm not. Cancel. So now we can remember and see, oh, we created this buffer here. We didn't want that one, so we can right-click, remove that. Remember, that was the one that didn't have the boundaries between different segments that were buffer dissolved. So remove that, it's gone forever. This clip data set, remember, was temporary. Now I'm going to right-click, export, save feature as. It's going to ask me what format. I want the Esri shapefile. If that doesn't pop up, you can choose from that drop-down menu there. And then if you just type in a file name there, that'll get confused. You have to go to this 3 dots and then save within week 1. I'm going to make a new folder because this is my data set. I don't need you to have it. So I'm going to just make myself a little discard folder, and I'm going to delete that after this demonstration. So that is clipped streams for townships.shp. Clear enough. And now all of this information can remain as it is. There we go, okay. And now that's exported there. Now we have the original clipped thing, and we have the new permanent saved one. So let's zoom to that layer, take a look at it. So there it is. Let's double click on that and make it a very bright, obvious color. And there we go. Let's make that wider so we can see what we're looking at. And that is the clipped streams layer at these 4 townships that we did before. So now I can remove that temporary layer and not worry about it anymore. Okay. And now I want to save this buffer here just the same. So right click, export save feature as. And I'm going to do the same thing here as Shapefile. Hit these 3 dots, and this is buffer 75 feet on stream segment.shp. Save. And I hit the enter key to make that happen. So that is in the UTM Zone 19 North. More on what that means shortly, but all else can be done the same. Okay, there it is. So now I can remove that original temporary layer. Okay. Zoom in, confirm that's still how I want it to be. I can display it any which way. Let's make it as it was before. Let's see, we want that to be transparent. We want that to be a nice bright blue. And okay, so there's our buffer. There's our 75-foot zone where the regulations on forest management are different for the purpose of protecting that stream from direct sunlight and other potential damage. So there we go. Now we can hit save, save project, project, save. Same thing here and here. You don't have to do save as again because we've already told it where to be. We're just updating that file again. So now that that's saved, I can close out of that. See if it listens to me. There we go. So now that's closed. If I go back to week 1 demo, this is what I just saved. I can double click on that. Loads right up, opens up the software, opens up the place I was just working on. Everything should be right where I left it. And again, this has got to be saved to your Google Drive file stream if you're working on the lab computer. Or if you're working on your own laptop or desktop computer, you can save it anywhere you want because it's yours. But the GIS lab computers, once they shut down, anything saved to the C drive gets wiped and goes away, and that makes you very, very sad. So this is giving us the load up screen. And that's saving exactly where we were the last time we hit save. All right, that should do us. Hope you have a great week, and I will see you one way or another next time.